welcome back to the Burlesque Bulletin podcast. I am your host, Honey Holloway, as usual, and today we are back with a part 2 with Evana De Lune. If you've clicked on this episode and you have not seen part 1, I urge you to go and watch it, go listen to it. We talked about so many burlesque things, Evana's inspirations and best and worst advice that she's received, and much, much more. So I encourage you to listen to part 1 and then come back to this one. So without further ado, it's Evana De Lune.
So what are your strengths when performing? What do you think are your best strengths?
I love to roll with the punches.
Okay, yeah.
I think, to put it simply, it would be improvisation. But when I think about it as a strength, I can sometimes walk into a room and maybe the vibe isn't what I expected it to be, or I have a performance and it doesn't quite fit the energy of the room or what's going on. I can pretty quickly change what I'm doing to fit the entertainment goal for that evening is. Even if I've had like a perfectly played out routine in my head, I know exactly what I'm doing and this is exactly what I want to be doing on stage. And that's the dream, to do what you've planned, but to walk out and then also be able to say, oh, okay, this isn't going to work. So like sometimes you can't do floor work because no one can see it. How are you going to adapt? Are you just going to do the 2 minutes of floor work that you put in, or are you going to make sure that people can see and enjoy the performance? So I love to improvise and change things up. It also keeps it interesting for you. And I think when you start performing enough, you don't need to stick to what you've prescribed to do. You can change it up and mix it up, and I love to do that. And also I love to just like have a fun time with it. So
especially when people aren't looking, you can just be like what about some weaknesses? What do you want to work on?
Such a mean question.
You're perfect. Okay.
No.
Next question.
Oh, I'm definitely not perfect. No, I think as a dancer, we are always trying to do our best, and I think there's a real struggle with trying to balance doing the thing and practicing to do the thing really well. So I spend a lot of time getting out on stage, and that's where a lot of my practice tends to happen. It'll happen like right before or on stage, and I wish I had more time to develop my acts more. I wish I had more time to rehearse them more and get them to a more polished level. I'm an incredibly time poor person, so it can be really hard to balance practicing and leveling up your skills and maintaining your level of, polish and keeping it at that really high level. And I think it's something that probably everyone struggles with, is trying to make enough time to practice rather than actually getting it out on stage. But I would rather get the imperfect thing out on stage and be doing that than sitting on it for a little bit too long and losing the passion for it. So that would be definitely a weakness of mine, because I want things to be perfect, but I know that they can't sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. So with your workshops, what do you love about teaching?
I love teaching so much. Definitely the people. I feel so blessed. In the past couple of years that I've been teaching, I've had over 3,000 students in Australia and New Zealand. And I've met so many incredible people. I teach people from the age of 18 all the way up to 75.
Wow.
It's awesome. And I also spend time at the start of each workshop getting to know people. So I'll ask them what brought them to the class. And it's so interesting to see the variety of differences that we have in a room, but what also brings us together. And there's so much that brings us together. And burlesque is such a powerful, beautiful thing, as I know you've experienced. And you know, it's so empowering. So to be able to actually sit there with a new group of people every week and watch their lives change in the space of an hour and a half is just, it's just beautiful.
It would be very cool to see like the spark. I feel like people always have a spark, especially if it's like the first, class they've ever been to. They're like, oh my God, I'm obsessed now. Like,
Yeah.
this is my life for the
Yeah.
rest of the time. So that's cool.
It happens every week.
Yeah,
It happens
wow.
and it's so magical to see too, to see someone like a common story is, oh, I've just been through a breakup or a divorce or I've lost myself and I'm trying to find myself, and watching that smile come to their face or that little sparkle in their eye come about and them start giggling, or it's just so powerful. And I can go into a day and think I'm having a bad day, and within the first 20 minutes I'm just having the best time of my life, because how can you have a bad day when you're watching these people like love themselves again? It's magical.
That's awesome. So what's some bad things, or like the least favorite thing about either teaching or social media as well? Or what are the bad sides to it?
Well, there's a lot there.
Especially with social media.
Social media can just be draining. I think it can be really tough. Social media is hard for me because my social media has grown exponentially over the past couple of years, that I can't, unfortunately, respond to everyone anymore. I used to do my best to reply to pretty much every single person. And I think when I hit 150 on Instagram, 1,500, that was when things got insanely overwhelming, and I can't get to every message and I can't respond to every email, and I can barely get onto my TikTok or my Facebook. It gets to a point where you can't actually reply to everyone anymore, and that's really sad, because I love connecting with people and I actually think it's really powerful. Social media in general is so powerful and so inspiring in the way that you can just meet someone on the other side of the world and have a conversation with someone that you would have never met otherwise. And so now it's hard because I can't actually manage all of that, and it's quite overwhelming to get to the point where you're missing messages from your friends and you're missing all sorts of areas of communication. So that's really tough. And if it was about teaching, it'd definitely be choreographing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I do love choreography, but sometimes you get a mental block, or you just get stuck in your head. I can sometimes have a song that comes along and just be, yep, that's the song. That's the song that we're going to do. I've got all the choreography in my head, no worries. And sometimes I'll be sitting on a class idea and have the idea and what I want to do, but we'll struggle to pick a song for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I'll book studio time. And sometimes I'm sitting in that studio for the whole 2 hours of that studio session, just going through my Spotify playlist, trying to figure out what I'm going to be dancing to. So it can be tough in that regard, but I give myself a lot of lead up. It usually takes me about 3 weeks to come up with course material and choreography. But
how often do you change it? Like, is it every
tour is a different.
Oh, wow.
So we'll do usually about 5 weeks in a tour, which is back-to-back classes on every weekend. And then I'll have a week or maybe 2 weeks off, which isn't off because I'm choreographing for the next workshop. And then back, and everything's different again.
Wow.
So I've choreographed so much this year, and so it can be hard to keep it funky and fresh for me as well, because I have to dance the same dance every weekend as well.
Yeah, true. Yeah, do you get sick of it? You're like, oh, done this dance
By
already.
week 5,
you're like,
it can sometimes get a bit rough, but usually it's still exciting because I get to see everyone experiencing it for the first time every single time. So that's not as bad, because I see people go, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I'm like, well, I'm glad you think so. That's great.
So what's something that surprised you about the role?
As a teacher, the most surprising thing is I never expected it to go this far.
Okay.
I never expected it to be this popular, specifically my workshops as well. When I started teaching workshops, it was more so that I could afford to go to a different state and perform. It was more about performing than it was about the workshops. Whereas now I'm not even performing this weekend. I'm up here just for the workshops, and they're sold out. So, and I used to only do a Sunday, for instance, whereas now I do Saturday back-to-back 3 workshops, Sunday back-to-back 3 workshops, and they sell out. So the demand is insane. And it's so wild to me because I never expected that. I never expected that to happen, and to have, I think my workshops are now currently capped at 28 students in a class, and to have that sold out and not have the capacity to do more. I cannot do more because I can't get to everyone, and I also can't fit that many people in a room. So to be at that capacity and still have people saying, when are you coming back next time? When are you coming back next time? So that's a big reason why EDL Studios has started up, which we can talk about later. But that has been so surprising because I never expected that.
Amazing. Well, let's talk about EDL Studios.
Okay.
So tell us about EDL Studios. How did it come about? Give us the inside scoop.
Yeah, natural progression from the last question, which is fantastic. It has pretty much come about because my workshops have been so successful. And so pivoting and trying to create a space for my workshops to not only be in person but also online. So it's currently being developed into an online studio as well, so that people across the world can experience burlesque or learn burlesque. I've also been developing bigger productions over the past year, so I want to be able to do that at a higher scale. So it's a brand that I've separated or created so that I can do that. And I also want to be able to make shows and workshops for other people and create opportunities for other people in the industry. And I didn't want that to all go through Evana De Lune. So it's just a little subset of my brand, which is for bigger and better things.
So exciting.
Yeah.
So what are you most excited about with EDL?
Like everything. Like everything. It's honestly very exciting. I'm excited to meet more people overseas. I'm excited to allow people the experience to learn from people that I admire. I really admire so many people in this industry. This industry has so many incredible, talented people. And so be able to bridge that gap and allow people to experience burlesque and the burlesque that makes this industry so fabulous is super duper exciting. And also big productions. Oh my gosh. Thrilling.
So cool.
Thrilling.
So what's a pet peeve that you have about burlesque or the industry or the scene?
Pet peeve. Yeah. That's a great question. I think probably a pet peeve would be industry rates. I think industry rates are such a difficult thing to talk about because a lot of people don't like to talk about money and get quite uncomfortable by that. But I get quite upset when I see people not paying superannuation. I think that's, first of all, that's a legal obligation for any labour hire, but it's also one of those extra steps that's really difficult to learn about. So I get upset when I see people start productions without knowing or understanding the necessary things that go into creating a show or creating these kinds of jobs. There's a lot more than just $200 for a show or whatever. So I really care about industry rates because I want showgirls to be able to retire. That's a big passion of mine. That's something that I really, really want to see. It's something that a lot of people don't think about because that's a future thought, but retirement, everyone deserves to be able to retire comfortably, especially when you work this hard. Not having that in place is just a shame, I guess.
Yeah.
And I want everyone to be able to retire. So superannuation is something I'm really, really passionate about.
I mean, yeah, I feel like people just don't really think about it as well, especially when you're a beginner and you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. And you just kind of go off what other people or producers say or just give you or,
Yeah.
So it's a bit tricky.
And I want everyone to know that you are entitled to super if you work in Australia as a sole trader in this industry. If you are a sole trader, you are entitled to your superannuation, and that needs to be paid on top of your rate, not inclusive unless that's agreed upon.
Yeah.
But you need to make sure that you are getting paid correctly and also look up minimum wage for a dancer in this industry. There are minimum wages online. You shouldn't be accepting less than minimum wage. It's hard to say because obviously if you're getting into the industry, you want to do things for, you know, exposure, experience, all of that. And that's acceptable. I totally think that's fine as long as you can live with that and you know why you're doing these things. But once you get to a point, are you doing this for yourself or are you doing this to just have an opportunity to get on stage? Are you trying to make money? It also can affect the survival workers of the industry as well. So some people do this for a full-time job. And if people accept less than what is minimum wage, the rates go down.
Yeah.
And the quality goes down. And then everyone starts to say, oh, well, we can pay less because people accept less. And we should all want to be paid more. Everyone should want to be paid more. Your work is incredible.
Especially in this economy.
In this economy. Money go up. Every year, money go up. That's the way it goes. So that's my pet peeve.
What's something that you think people should know about burlesque?
Burlesque has an incredibly rich history. And it's not something that I think everybody goes into the industry thinking about or knowing about or trying to learn about. But it has a history very deeply rooted in sex work, very intermingled with that. And it also has a very coloured history. A lot of the moves that we do wouldn't exist without people of colour. So, for instance, the bump and grind wouldn't exist without belly dancing, and it wouldn't exist with, you know, Middle Eastern performers of the 1800s. And also shimmying on stage wouldn't exist without Black American women shaking in clubs in the 1920s. So a lot of the moves that we do on stage come from a very coloured history, and it's very important that you know why you're dancing the way that you're dancing. That's what I would say.
Definitely. And what do you think is burlesque or like the industry's biggest challenge that it faces currently?
Definitely censorship.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get that answer all the time.
Yeah, we've gotten it before, I think so. But yeah, it's
censorship is huge. It's such a shame as well because a lot of performers want to be able to show off their work, what they do on stage, and they don't get the opportunity to do that because social media doesn't love naked people.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why.
What do you mean? And so it can be really difficult to market your work, which means it can be very difficult to get ongoing bookings. It can be very difficult to put on shows because you're not able to advertise. So advertising and marketing are a huge part of performing and are a huge part of producing. And so if you struggle to market yourself because of censorship, that's a really huge challenge because it means you might not be able to put on another show. It means you might not be able to continue doing the job. So coming up with really different ways is, I think a lot of people need to challenge the way that they think about social media because I know we can get really negative about it. And I know we can get in the doom of gloom and then we all want to delete our apps and say, there's just got to be another way. But there isn't. And are you going to stop doing it?
Yeah.
Probably not. You probably have to keep doing it. So how are you going to adapt the way that you think about social media in order to continue doing the thing? So I love the term like gamify your life. And also...
I haven't heard that.
Really?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love to think about, okay, if I'm going to post something, I'm trying to get my followers to grow up. So I'm going to keep posting this week and see if I can hit a little goal.
Yeah.
And so rather than thinking about it as in like, people don't love me or no one's seeing my things because Instagram sucks.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Have a goal. Have a set goal so you can gamify that and hit your goal, hit your target. That's what I do. But on top of that, treat it like a tease. You know, we live in the world of the art of the tease. If you're giving it all away, then there's less... I mean, this isn't true. Like, I think people will come and see you if they want to see you regardless. But if you're teasing your content and you know that you're doing more and people can see that you're probably doing more, they have to come to your show to see that.
Totally.
So treat it like a tease. And I think just be thoughtful with the kind of content that you shoot. If you can't post naked photos, it's probably less important for you to take those naked photos, which is an awful thing to say. I think definitely take the naked photos if you can, but
save that for the OnlyFans or something.
that's it. Yeah, exactly. And come up with new ways to market your content and come up with interesting ways, because there's a scale of social medias and what you can post on certain different platforms. Like, you can post more risque content on things like it's now Blue Sky, which is the old Twitter.
Oh, I was curious as to what that was. I haven't downloaded
The
it
old person who made Twitter originally left Twitter, started making Blue Sky. It's basically old Twitter, or left-wing X, which is a better place to be.
Yeah. Is anyone on X these days? I don't I don't think so.
I hope not, but here we are. So you can post more risque things on there. You can post risque things on Reddit. There's a big burlesque community on Reddit.
Yeah.
There's 15,000 people in a subreddit called Burlesque. Join that if you want to join and the conversation, because people who are interested in that are talking on there. You can post more risque content on there. You can post slightly more risque, or like on the scale of like Blue Sky, Reddit, then you've got YouTube. Your stuff will get like demonetized or censored a little bit, but you can still post it there. And then you've got Facebook, which is a step down from that. So Facebook, you can post a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit more. And then you can't really post anything risque on Twitter. Oh, sorry, not Twitter. Instagram or TikTok. So that's the scale that you need to ramp up to. You say, follow me on this thing, and then follow me on this thing, and then follow me on this thing.
Just get a little bit more each time.
And that's it. And then you have people chasing you, and you're also collecting them every step of the way. So be
smart.
Just be playful.
She's a
with
businesswoman. She is.
Tease it along. Tease it along. You can see more here and here and here and here. So don't give it all away, and then don't be upset when you get it taken down, because that's what they said they were going to do. It was in the terms and conditions.
God damn it.
That you agreed to. So it's rough though, because I fully understand. I want to post my nudies everywhere, and I can't. It sucks.
It's depriving people. It's sad.
Yeah. So I think just be mindful, and be mindful that there is more than one social media platform.
Yeah.
Get on all of them.
Yeah, you got to play the game and work it to your advantage, unfortunately.
It's exhausting. It will take up your entire day, but it's worth it.
Yeah, I have such a love-hate relationship with social media, but
change it to love.
I'm trying.
Just change it
getting
to
there.
Love. Gamify
You're
it.
helping.
Make
You're
it
helping.
fun.
Yeah.
Make it fun.
I'm so sorry to interrupt this episode with Evana De Lune, but I just wanted to pop in and let you guys know that we now have a Patreon. So if you have wanted to support us before, there's a place that you can do that. So head over to Patreon and find the Burlesque Bulletin. The link is also in our bio on Instagram, so you can find us that way. This is the Support Us tier, so it's just $6.50 a month. And you can cancel anytime, but any support is appreciated wholeheartedly. We all do this without getting paid, for the love of it, but every little bit counts, because I know we're all going through a hard time. So the support tier is only $6.50. That's less than a coffee these days. So if you can head over and support us in any way, that would be absolutely incredible. There also is some very exciting things coming very soon on the Patreon. Some more exciting tiers with goodies and discounts and all the good stuff. Maybe some extras with some of your favorite burlesque stars. So people who sign up first on the support tier will have basically first dibs or first choice to what these extras are going to be. So definitely head over there and join our little burlesque community, our Burlesque Bulletin community over there. Anyways, back to the episode.
So, we're going to play a little game. Excited. You ready? Okay, it's called This or That. Super easy. Just choose what's your
This
fave.
or that.
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful.
Rhinestones or feathers?
Rhinestones.
C-string or G-string?
I love the look of a C-string. We don't call them C-strings we're a Merkin family down south.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think only Brisbane calls them a C-string.
Yeah, I have noticed that actually.
But I think a C-string is specifically the string that has the wire in it, and a Merkin's one that you stick on.
Oh.
I think.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I should know that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love the look of a merkin. Practicality wise,
Yeah.
lots of glue. So
Have you
I'd say-
tried it before?
Oh yeah.
Has it worked
Yeah.
well? Okay.
Highly recommend getting. I don't know whether you like using leather products or not, but a leather. Okay, so don't use something that's vinyl because you can have backings on them. Vinyl, especially in this weather, swampy weather, it's going to slip right off. I've had a merkin come off on stage. It's not a great look. Not a great look. Not a great feel either. So make sure you get something that is quite grippy. So leather is fantastic, and make sure I use tape and spirit gum. So tape.
I was wondering if you could use those together because I've never tried them together.
I wouldn't put them on top of each other. Yeah. But tape all that you can tape, and then spirit gum around the edges, and just thoughts and prayers. Put it on right before you go on stage. Okay. Maybe 5 minutes before. If you leave it on for too long, you start to sweat. Baby boy wants to come off. So I picked G-string because that's just not going to happen. And I take those on too. So
Neo or classic?
I'm a classic kind of gal.
Boa or feather fans?
Boa.
Lace or leather?
That was a really hard one. That's a really hard one. Yeah. I'm going to say leather.
Okay.
But I do love lace.
Tassels or assels?
Tassels. Tassels, I've definitely got more tartar than ass. So
really?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Diamonds or pearls?
I'm going to say diamonds. But that's tough too.
Yeah. Drag or burlesque?
I'm going to say burlesque.
Mm-hmm. Stocking peels or stripper heels?
Stocking peels.
Yeah. Big stage show or intimate bar show?
You know, that question's a really hard one for me too. I feel like if you'd have asked me a year ago, I would have without a doubt said intimate bar show every day of the week. And I often do an intimate bar show nearly every day of the week. Not really, but a lot of the time. And I, produce at La Bar Supper Club. So I love an intimate bar show. It's my favorite thing ever. But ever since tasting big stage on my own, I'm going to say big stage.
Mm-hmm. Cabaret or comedy?
Comedy.
Movies or a TV series?
I'm a TV series girly.
Mm-hmm. What are you watching at the moment? What's a fave?
I'm rewatching Broad City.
Okay, I've never seen that. It's on Netflix.
I think it's on Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
okay,
I think
I'll
so.
have to check it out.
But the ADHD in me, I can't sit still for very long.
Yeah.
So I have to be up and doing things while I'm watching a TV show. And you can stop a TV show at any point. Mm-hmm. You cannot stop a movie. You have to be locked in for that next 1 hour to 2 hours.
You can pause it.
That's not how it's intended to be watched. And I don't want to pause anything. I just want to go, go, go. Mm-hmm. So I really struggle to sit still.
Yeah.
So I can't watch a movie because I will not take in the whole movie.
Yeah.
I have to have time to watch a movie. I don't have time. Whereas I have time to miss most of the plot in a TV show.
Yeah. You can pick it up and you're like, oh, okay, I kind of know what's happening.
I have no idea what's going on at any time. So it's fine.
Okay. Early bird or night owl?
Unfortunately, both.
Okay. You just don't sleep.
Yeah. No. I think definitely more of a night owl, but I can't sleep. So I'm both. I'm a both kind of person. But I think I hear that millionaires don't sleep very much, so I'm just praying that all pays off in the end.
Yes.
Not by choice.
Sweet or savory?
I'm a sweet tooth.
Are you?
Yeah.
What do you like? Do you like cakes?
Chocolate.
Chocolate? You're
chocolate
girl?
Chocolate. I'm such a chocolate addict. If I don't have chocolate in a day, it's a bad day.
Oh, okay.
I actually don't know if it's possible for me to not have chocolate in a day.
Is it a dark chocolate or milk chocolate?
I'll take it all.
Anything.
I'll take it all. Dark chocolate's good because it'll curb the craving for it, and you get kind of off-put by it a little bit at the same time.
It's the 90% or something.
It's kind of awful, but you're like, I've had chocolate, so that's okay. Whereas I like the taste of milk chocolate better, but I'll eat more of it.
Yeah, you can just eat a whole block and you're like, oh, shit.
It's a real problem. It's a real problem.
I can relate. Halloween or Christmas?
Halloween.
Yeah. Red or white wine?
Oh gosh. You floored me. I don't think I like either of them, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, that's also an option.
I I like to pretend I'm sophisticated enough to drink a red, but I think they're all quite awful.
Yeah, I feel
So
that
I'll say red.
Yeah, it looks cute, and you can drink it slow, so it looks like you're drinking it.
You kind of have to,
yeah.
don't you?
Just go. Delicious. Cocktails or beer?
Cocktails. Yeah.
What's your go-to? Do you have a go-to?
I love to start any day, which is like at nighttime.
Okay.
But I like to start any day with an espresso martini.
Yes.
I love an espresso martini.
The caffeine, it gets you.
Yeah, I think it's the
you going.
perfect pre-performance drink.
Yeah.
It's like you go to the office and you drink a coffee.
Totally.
I go to the office and I drink an espresso martini.
Yes. So what have you got coming up with you, with EDL, with everything, workshops? Let us know.
Oh my gosh, so much, so much. There's always something on. I'm actually really thrilled. I produce a regular gig at Le Bar Supper Club, which is a big evening of roving burlesque performance, which is a lot of fun. And as of next year, we're going weekly on a Friday and a Saturday night, which is so awesome.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It is really cool. It is really, really cool. And I feel really, really lucky to be able to do that gig. It's something I've worked really hard on and I'm really passionate about it. And I'm just so thrilled I'll be able to give so many more opportunities to people and share the love, and everybody can come to Melbourne, come dance with me. I want to dance with everybody. So that's really cool. I'm very, very excited about that. And if you've never been before and you need to do something in Melbourne, come on down.
I'm so
to
excited to go there eventually.
It's a day.
Heck yeah.
It's a day. And I also have EDL Studios, which is really exciting. That's going to have a lot of online content. So I can't wait to bring all of that online, and I can't wait to meet so many new people through that. I'm also producing shows for other performers at the moment, which is super cool because I love things that aren't about me, to be honest. I really, really do.
Me too. That's why I do this podcast.
Yeah, it's brilliant. You can still be involved, but it's not all about you. So that's really awesome. I can't wait to do that, and I can't wait to, bring more international people into this country and share more burlesque. It's very hard for people to come here because it is so far away. It's so far away, which is so sad because it's an amazing country.
Yeah.
I love you, Australia. And I just want everyone to come here and have a great time, and I want everyone here to be able to experience overseas burlesque because they are doing such incredible things over there as well. So,
and it is so different, but in a good way.
It is really different, and it's so wild because we are obviously so talented here in Australia. We're so blessed with so much talent, and to think that we have our own unique way of doing things is so wild because burlesque is relatively new to this country. We weren't the inventors of it, and although we've been doing it for quite a long time, we've created our own sort of niche in the industry, which is so wild but so fun. And also producing another tour.
Yes.
Which keep your eye out for that. But I'm always doing stuff. I'm always teaching. You'll almost always find workshops on my website. If you go to edlstudios.com, you'll find everything there.
Amazing.
Moving forward, which is super cool.
And what's the Instagram?
EDL Studios is
excellent
on everything. Just
perfect.
Yeah.
And if people aren't following you,
Evana De Lune on everything. EVANADELUNE on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Put some spaces in between it, and Reddit. Yeah, I mean, you don't really follow people as much on Reddit, but join the Burlesque subreddit. Blue Sky. You can get me on there. You can get me anywhere that there's a place to put in a username. I probably have it. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me. Yay. It's been so much fun.
Yay.
Thank you so much to our guest for being on the podcast and letting us take a peek behind the curtain of their lives. Thanks for everyone joining us, and we will see you in our next episode.